Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, and joining me once again is Teepa Snow, dementia care expert. And topic for today is one we all experience, and I get a personal experience, grieving loss. Pretty wide open subject, grieving loss of a loved one, a close friend, even a pet. What's some advice for persons living with dementia and families dealing with the persons living with dementia? I mean, a scenario. Grandma died, do I go in and tell grandpa? Is he able to process? There's so many different scenarios that come to mind, and I don't know where to start.
Yeah, we have a whole series on it because it is so complicated. Dementia in and itself, if we keep thinking of how much somebody has lost, then we experience loss. Loss of relationship, loss of freedom, loss of ability, but if we start thinking change, things are changing. Well, then I got to figure out, how is it changing for the other person? So and we've done a lot of these little clips, and we have little short snippets to work on this because it is a big deal. So if you were let's say you were the husband of the person who had died, she was the carer, and you are living with dementia, I would tend to start off with something like, "Hey, Greg, so tell me a little bit about the last time you remember talking to Charlene. Tell me a little bit about that."
I don't know. She moved somewhere else, I think. I don't know where she's gone to.
So you were thinking she's moved.
Yeah, I see her. I think I see her sometimes, but then I don't. So.
Yeah, you do. So when you see her, is it good?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
But then
she
she's
likes
gone.
those really crazy hats, huh?
Hats. Yeah, she's a hat. Yeah.
Oh, she's a hat lady. Yeah, now let me ask you something. Now, do you buy the hats or does she buy the hats?
I don't, but I think she buys them because I don't buy them. I don't like hats.
Oh, you're not much of a hat guy. Yeah. Now, so when she's not around, how are you filling your time? What are you up to these days?
Well, I don't know. I think I play cards and watch some TV.
So you're playing cards. Oh, now, Greg, have I directly addressed the idea that Charlene has died and she's not available to you anymore?
No, you've been reaching out with some subtle little. You're finding it. You're information gathering, Teepa.
I am, because my goal is to figure out, what does Greg know about what's going on? And what he said is, I think she's moved away, but I see her occasionally. It's like, it is not my job right now to say to Greg, "Oh, Greg, I hate to break this to you, she's dead." I mean, that's like being, mean is the best word I can find. It's just not okay. My work tells me I need to figure out, where is Greg? Is he grieving the loss of Charlene? Can he hold on to the idea that Charlene, because we could have gone to the funeral, we could have done all that, but right now I need to appreciate my loss of somebody is going to be different than Greg's loss. And I need to scope that out. And if it's too painful for me to do it as a family member, I need to assign that responsibility to someone else, because my grieving will be at a different time, at a different pace, in a different way. But Greg's not grieving her right now. And it was really pretty great to be able to say hats and Charlene, and his brain was in a good place. And then I said cards. Now we have something we can do, and we don't need to grieve the loss. Now, what happens when we play cards? I don't know. We'll find out in that moment. But
So I'm hearing you say, don't assume, because we quite often assume that everybody grieves the same.
yeah, and maybe not at all. And and I've had people living with dementia say, "I really miss my wife. I'm just curious, wonder where she's at." And it's like, you're wondering where she is. Did you need her for something, or you just want to talk to her?
So the answer to that is not. She's dead.
No, Not for me, it isn't,
Yeah,
because
that's
that again is not an assessment. That's an assumption that you're asking for that info. And all I heard you asking for is, I seem to be missing my wife. And my job is to figure out, what about her are you missing? Because that's the part I can do something about, is what you're missing.
Is this something that a normal family member can sort of tackle on their own? I guess every situation is so different, isn't it?
It is, and yeah.
But if I need
So
help,
guess what, Greg? Guess what? I think you probably are going to want some support and some training before you start trying to do this, unless I mean, maybe you're already skilled, maybe you're already comfortable with it. At least watching a video of us talking and exploring, or listening to a webinar that we did, might be a starter place, or talking to a consultant so they can give you some info on, okay, so they'll do an explore with you and sort of like, oh, so this is what you're coming with. Well, here's some options that we have that you may want to look at, and then we can talk about it and see if it's anything like what you're experiencing, so we know how to support you.
the grieving might not be about death. It could be about a pet. It could be about my life. It could be about the fact that I can't play golf or hockey. It takes
Exactly.
many different forms.
I mean, it could be about, I don't have the job I used to have. It could be, I mean, there's so many possibilities. We need to get out of the habit of thinking we know the answer before we assess the situation, assess the person, assess what's going on that might be triggering all this. What are they missing that I need to explore? And if it's not something you're skilled at and it's happening frequently, I would definitely recommend, wow, maybe you need some help on what you're missing first.
Teepa consultants through Positive Approach to Care, are they trained in this area?
Are, and so are mentors. So it could be a case where maybe where you go is consulting, but maybe what you want is a mentor to work on some skill development. I'm not sure, but it's worth exploring for sure. Either one of those will get you started and will get you to where you belong. It just sort of depends.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. For more information, go to teepasnow.com.